Hi there and welcome back to Japan and to my reaction and review to I Love Me with the song Knife. And as always, the reaction I have just done, if you want to watch that before I give you the review, pause this video, click the link in the description below, which will open up a separate little YouTube player where you can watch the song with me if you haven't already heard it, or if you just want to see how I react to it. Ready for the review? Because that's what I'm about to give you. Sure you don't want to pause this? Alright, review time. This was an interesting one, as I said, for the reasons at the beginning of the reaction. Effectively, for me, this is a group who I really like. I like their sound, I like their ethos, I just like the whole way that the band feels. It's quite minimalist stuff, but there's always a real sense that the sounds are crafted. They have access to, they've got keyboard players, they've got seem to have a lot of synth equipment that they use. They also have, the normal instruments, the guitar, the bass, drums. They really can choose and craft their sounds, and they seem to do that very well. And yet at the same time, they do, as a band, kind of have a sound. And I would probably most describe that as this sort of thing where there's more of a hyperbolic nature to the choruses. The choruses have a sort of drama. They, the verses usually have a sort of a melancholy, and then the choruses have a drama to them. There usually seems to be a sharpness to the sounds, which I personally I kind of appreciate. And again, I mean, I'm into so many different styles of music and things like that. It's kind of part of the job I've had. However, we all have certain personal preferences, and I've always kind of like bright, sharp sounds where everything's very distinct. Everything's very, it's not too much echo. Everything really punches through. It's just what it is. I tend to find too much reverb. It's almost like reverb covers the space a bit too much, and sort of makes up for a lack of arrangement. Whereas these guys, you can tell that maybe that's the reason. Maybe because they craft each sound, the whole arrangement, the whole thing is so crafted with so much love that almost the idea of putting reverb on it is kind of like putting your painting behind a stained glass window, or putting it behind a frosted glass. You wouldn't do that. You want people to hear it and see it as clearly as possible. So maybe that's part of the reason. But I do really like that. And that's part of this, like I say, this sound that I Love Me seem to have. There's also a style of melody writing. I mean, the melody of this does kind of remind me of at least one of the other songs I've heard of them previously. You guys know how bad I am at remembering song names. I listen to these guys quite regularly as well, to be honest. I still can't remember the song names. But yeah, the melody of this one sounded very similar to one of their other ones as well. But it just worked. For me, it just really worked. This is the sort of thing, I think this applies both for the band and for the song. If you like it, if you like what they do, I think you're likely to find yourself liking most of what they do. I think there are some groups like that. I said this about I Love Me, Silent Siren, Wagaki Band, Nakata Yasutaka, the producer for Kari Pami Pami and Perfume. There are certain artists where if you just kind of click with what they do as a general, you'll probably click with most of what they do. So I think that I Love Me are kind of like you either love me or hate me kind of group. You're either going to be into it or you're really not. For me, I am into it, and I think that this is something that's going to resonate with other people who like this sound. There's a certain quality. I mean, like I said, a lot of it comes down to a mixture of really good melodies and sound craftsmanship. I mean, to give you an idea, I was talking about the gated guitar. Basically, some of you guys might recognize this from the description I did of compression. And this is a similar effect to compression, to do with affecting how loud a sound is. Gating is basically where a sound plays, and if it ever drops below a certain volume, it goes silent. Actually, you probably know this from if you've ever been on a telephone call and someone stops talking and then you just get a big background sound, then it seems to go silent and you think they've hung up and you go, you there? And just suddenly their voice comes out, yeah, I'm still here. That's gating. Basically, your phone's doing that. It's like the sounds drop below a certain level, so it just silences it. And that's used in certain types of music. Now, like what they did with the guitar here is a very extreme form of gating where basically if the guitar is not at full volume, it's completely silent. So basically every time they hit the note, it goes from silence to full volume immediately. And every time they let off the note, it goes from full volume to silence immediately. Yeah, I just thrown in a music lesson in the middle of this review, but they kind of like did that. It could have been synthesized by a keyboard, but it sounded like a gated guitar effect in the choruses. And I really like that because you had all of the energy and impact of an electric guitar, but it kept in keeping with this very sort of sharp, distinct, punchy sound that the songs have. That sort of, like I say, the way the beat is very, very sharp, but very, you know, sort of very precise, I guess is the word you'd say. And I just kind of, yeah, like I said, I really like that. And I like so many things about this song. I love the way they do the melodies, and I do love songs that have a sense of direction. So having your choruses be loud and your verses be kind of, you know, building up the emotional weight, yeah, I guess that's going to appeal to all of my personal preferences. So I must admit, I really like this. I can't wait to throw it on and listen to it again, which is why I'm going to wrap this one up now by saying, okay, those are my opinions from a subjective perspective, and also trying to throw in the objective side as well of working with music my entire adult life. You know how this works. However, get in the comments now and tell me what you think. Did you like this or not? Did you know the song or not? Do you know the artist or not? Just get in there, tell me what you think, try and justify it as best as possible so we can have a proper conversation about that. That's what I love to do on here, and this is what you guys have been so fantastic at keeping the community alive with. You can like and subscribe as well if you don't mind, if you want to do the YouTube stuff. And if you want to join that community of people who follow this channel and talk about music all day long, then follow one of the links in the description below to our social medias. Big thank you especially to those who followed our Patreon. You know how it works, and guys, you really do keep the channel alive. I say it, I mean it, it's true. So, thank you from me. Thank you for making it through to the end of this video. And until I hopefully see you soon for the next one, for now, ciao, ciao.